sequence. Just finding a difficult battle to break through for Team Liquid. WEDGM holding strong, of course. A lot of good counters to Hog Rider. This miner does get on tower. Two giant skeletons. Now to 14-13, but a poison played high, not available to try to finish that tower.
And they missed with the arrows there. So this is the moment for Liquid to steal the game if they can.
That Mega Knight has just been so devastating. Maybe the bomb can help clear some way. Breaks up Hog Rider and freeze!
Freeze is in!
Freeze!
Hog gets another hit! 312! One more hit! 48! They just need the log! They need anything! The miner's there!
Oh my God!
WEDGM steals it in the final seconds!
From 1 HP to 48 on the other side, it looked like Liquid had pulled the rug out from under WEDGM, and they say no, shut the door, Miner gets on tower, and that's it.
They needed one log, one spell to get on through and just not able to have to play defense. WEDGM recognized it and went all in. That Miner was beautiful.
And the poison too, getting behind it. They've been playing a bunch of spells at the bridge. And now you look at on the back end, maybe those spells at the bridge were the right call, doing
100%.
enough to keep just 48 HP from falling.
100%. So here we are in the replay, those final seconds. Miner on the inside. You see the triple drop of the two skeletons and the lumberjack all turning around to focus on that Miner, doing a pretty good job. They missed the tower with the arrows, and this looks like the moment where Surge and Canario are going to steal it. You know one Hog's going to come down with the Earthquake to try to take out the Inferno, and then you know the second Hog's going to come down with the Freeze.
And this freeze is gorgeous, but the arrows do enough to prevent one extra Hog hit. 48 HP, you can see just 2 elixir in both hands for the players from Liquid, and that's it. Game number 2 goes to WEDGM.
And that is almost as close as it gets, but apparently 1 HP is as close as it gets, not 48. So
that's what I've been told.
Here we go. One game in the hand of Liquid, one game in the hand of WEDGM, and honestly, they were in control that entire second game.
Yeah, it really felt like WEDGM had it locked down. Just no way to get through for the Hog Rider, but a beautiful sequence at the end, making almost enough room to steal that game.
Almost. But the arrows, that buff in damage, just enough. Here we go, our third and final 2v2 game of the World Finals.
And look at this, Surge and Canario going Hog Rider again. I have to say, I'm a little surprised.
I am too, especially when you see WEDGM bust out that Mega Knight first play. That is not what Kana and Surge wanted to see.
Gotta wonder if they made some other small adjustments. Maybe that mini P.E.K.K.A might be some of their response, thinking if that Mega Knight and Ram Rider are in play.
So maybe it was a bit of a game of who's gonna blink first, and neither squad did. And last game you saw the favorable matchup to WEDGM.
And here we go, first 50 seconds, and big chunks taken out of both sides by the Chinese squad.
Yeah, about 700 HP missing. 1,400 in total for Team Liquid, and Nomisu and Soloman just sitting pretty.
Both teams slowing down a bit after that fast opening. Taking their time just to build some elixir and confer with their teammates, figure out what the plan's going to be moving forward.
Yeah, and that's a big part of how Surge and Canario are going to try to take this game. They have to figure out a different game plan. You saw them coordinate or orchestrate that perfect offense at the end. How do they do that? Not in the final seconds.
And Knight, which comes down to pick up the mini P.E.K.K.A. Inferno Tower, and very nice that it has the bats in front to keep that Musketeer distracted. EQ comes out for WEDGM.
But now all those tower-seeking units from WEDGM should have a straight shot on through, or at least enough to create pressure to demand elixir from Surgical and Canario.
And this is how they want to build this push, but unfortunately, Mega Knight gets through, although that Hog Rider might be able, no, Mega Knight does take care of business.
Does aggro that Mega Knight just long enough to keep it in the death bomb range, but a big push coming down.
Defensive freeze from Team Liquid to make sure this Mega Knight Ram Rider push does not get on tower, but Soloman and Nomisa keeping the pressure on. Miner to the back, picked up by the Lumberjack, but Baby Dragon might be able to get to tower. This Mega Man gets one more swipe in. No, Giant Skeleton dropped to pick it up on the left-hand right-hand side.
They are spending so much elixir just to stop the bleeding on the left-hand side, and it really all started just a moment ago with that great sequence from WEDGM taking advantage of that low mini-peck that played with the high freeze from Team Liquid.
So here we go, final 15 seconds of regulation, and WEDGM getting ready to abuse a very large elixir lead, easily taking care of that Hog Rider on the right-hand side.
And you see, once again, just a very, very easy, cheap defense being played by WEDGM. Even if it's a -1 elixir trade, it doesn't matter. We are getting a lot of elixir now here in overtime.
Maybe trying to take advantage of this Rage Snowball. Mini Pekka will do the job. Another snowball back in the direction.
Wow.
Hog does not get a swing. Very well defended by Nomisa and Solo Man.
Even raged up, not able to get a swing in. Beautiful defense.
Giant Skeleton picks up the Night Witch. Musketeer behind, getting on the Mega Mini.
Ram Rider cycled in the back once again, because the nice thing about cycling the Ram Rider in the back is she can still provide defensive utility. A great freeze.
Yeah, look at that. Keeping the Ram Rider in the Death Bomb range. Mega Knight going down, and now quite a bit going the opposite direction from Liquid.
11 elixir combined for WEDGM to defend.
Earthquake down. Hog Rider raged up this time, not going to be stopped. Gets one swing, gets two swings, and now we are tied up on the left-hand side.
We're dead even. They didn't even get the freeze off, so imagine if they had freeze in cycle that time instead of having to use it on defense.
And Liquid again opting to ignore the wall breakers on the right-hand side, although now that does open up some options for WEDGM.
Yeah, it's nice. That's kind of a luxury for them to be able to ignore it, but they can't do it anymore. Wow! And one more hit in, but not enough spell power. They got to get another Hog on tower.
Hog Rider threads the needle. Now Mini Pekka looking to stop that Ram Rider. She does not connect. Miner to the back. Poisons all over the place for the Chinese team.
And that Night Witch was just lost on the field. 5:34, 6:49. Hog doesn't get pulled.
Right.
That's it. That's huge. The freeze comes down. Surgical Goblin and Canario get away with one. Wow, we've all done it. We've all placed the building one tile too far, but they did it on the most important moment in their careers.
Unbelievable. It looked like Surgical Goblin Canario might have been in a lot of trouble there, but one Hog Rider sneaks on through. One Inferno Tower just not quite where you want it, and that's GG. Well played. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. The classic Surgical Goblin. Goodbye and thank you for playing. That was incredible. They kept up so persistent, even though they had a bad matchup once again. They weren't able to orchestrate the offense that they wanted until the very last push, but with the help of a very poorly placed Inferno Tower by the CRL China champions.
They did a great job of battling, of staying in, and now going into the 1v1 trio with the advantage. You got to imagine Liquid feeling pretty good right now.
CRL China runner-ups, excuse me, I needed to clarify that. But yes, Team Liquid feeling very, very good right now. They're the first people to be able to take down this 2v2 squad from WEDGM. So let's go and take a look at that crazy, crazy photo finish. But first, a little bit early in the game.
Yeah, so here we go, and it was just real difficult. This was that early freeze played defensively that we saw out of Team Liquid, and as we were talking about earlier on, this one ended up not turning in the direction they wanted.
Yeah, that freeze coming out, though, it felt like just demanded a little bit more elixir out of WEDGM than they would have liked to spend. So Hog here gets a big hit, two big hits, and all of a sudden we are tied up in what seemed like an unwinnable game.
And then here we go, 40 seconds left, and so much going in the opposite direction, but able to keep this Ram Rider from getting anywhere near the tower, and now it's going to be a downhill run for Team Liquid.
Yeah, so Liquid here going to put down that Hog Rider far to the left, as you always should place it. They get down the Earthquake, so what does WEDGM try to do? They kind of try to place their Inferno Tower where they think the Earthquake won't land, but it's not there in time. It's not where they need to be. Hog gets on through, and Liquid takes 2v2.
And that's a big time win. Obviously, this is best of 5 sets, so WEDGM does have a lot of room to play. And now we get into a big question, some second guessing about going with that No Misa Solo Man combination rather than throwing higher in there. would we have seen a misplaced Inferno Tower? I don't know. I don't remember who actually played that Inferno Tower.
I actually love that analysis because I think now you do bring out your best 2v2 duo with Higher to take that first set because he can still play in 1v1.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats from that last game. And as you can see, it was the Earthquake play, the Giant Skeleton play, and big time the Lumberjack in some good raged up hits from that Hog Rider.
Yeah, and honestly, these numbers are great and fun to look at. But the thing is it was all about that misplaced Inferno Tower. You saw 4 of them played throughout the entire game, but just one of them was all it took. One misplaced building. We've all done it against Hog Rider before. We've all wanted to throw our phones. I can only imagine how WEDGM feels right now knowing they had the counter in hand and on the board, just not on the right tile.
And you pick up that Hog Rider with the Inferno Tower, WEDGM had a lot more spell firepower for a closing spell cycle than Team Liquid did. They had 2 poisons rather than just the 1. They had the arrows as well. So much opportunity to do damage, but they gave that away.
Well, yeah, if Liquid tries to keep overloading at the river, you got the Giant Skeleton to stop everything in its tracks, and you still have the Inferno to pick up the Hog. But that's the past, now the future as we move on to our 3 1v1 sets.
And yeah, it's going to be pretty wild. So many best of 3s coming out. Of course, we're going to see some of the best in the business go head to head. But first, let's go ahead and take one more look at a word from our sponsors.
Introducing Google Pixel 4.
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that fire like a rocket. Say the word, you know I'm ready to go. I want it, want it, I want it, want it. I gotta have it.
We're back. Thank you again to our production partner, Google Play, bringing you the Clash Royale League World Finals in 2019, live from Los Angeles, California, in the beautiful Shrine Auditorium and Expo Center. It's been a great venue to host this event in, and these players have been giving us quite a show.
Oh my goodness, I don't even have a voice anymore, but here we go with Canario's favorite card, the Fisherman. Obviously with a massive nerf, probably not going to be showing up today, and Higher on the other side of it. We saw earlier on today in his prior matches, he loves the Skeletons. Skeleton's one of the best cards in the game. If you can get good, efficient elixir trades out of that, you are in a great, great spot. And Higher Canario coming out right now seems like the thing to do, right? Canario's playing well. He's on a run. Higher clearly playing well, on a great run. Let's let those guys ride the high and see if they can continue on and take that first set for their respective squads.
Well, Higher's done a great job of taking advantage of his opponent's mistakes.
Yes.
And there have been significant mistakes from his opponents so far today. I don't expect the same thing from Canario.
Not at all. Here we go. 1v1 between Canario and Higher.
Higher, top of your screen, Canario at the bottom. Canario open up with a little zap cycle, Goblin Cage reply from his opponent.
And just to remind you, since Canario spent so much time in 2v2, he has an 81% win rate in 1v1.
Oh yeah, he's good at that. He's pretty good at that. So here we go. Of course, Higher, no head-to-head slouch himself. 38 and 22 lifetime in 1v1 sets, a 57% lifeline win rate in these best of 3s, and of course, a 79-50 personal best on ladder.
So Canario drops that Sparky. Higher responds immediately with a Graveyard, and I don't know if I really like that Graveyard.
Yeah, doing his best to maybe buy him some time and distract the Sparky, but gotta wonder what he has now that there's going to be a pile of elixir going the opposite direction.
Well, Inferno Dragon will help once it targets the Goblin Giant. There's the zap to reset, and those Spear Goblins gonna take out, no, yes, just barely taking out that Inferno Dragon.
Sparky does not get on tower, but damage done 1637 right-hand side. Canario in the lead as we reach the midway point of regulation time.
Higher gonna have to respond to this Musketeer.
And that's one way to do it. Valkyrie high directly into that Sparky. We're talking with Mikkel a little bit about Sparky play, and one of his thoughts about Sparky and single elixir is don't do it unless they give you a beefy enough card that Sparky can one-shot.
Yeah, and here's one of the interesting interactions in the game. Is a great way to counter Sparky is with the graveyard, and sometimes it works out great. Other times you waste 5 elixir and your win condition. So it ends up working out, I guess, okay for higher here.
Yeah, Canario not able to get anything in front, so that Sparky will go down fairly easily, and now Musketeer in response to that bar barrel. And now that we're in double elixir, Canario picking up the pace on Sparky.
Yeah, you got to feel like he's going to go in with it. Yep, there it is. There's the graveyard because the Sparky cycled in the back, going to be distracted by those skeletons. Valkyrie does get through with that zap.
Doesn't get quite as much as maybe Higher had expected, and now Goblin Giant Sparky with guards as well coming the opposite direction. Fireball to reset, that's a beautiful play.
That is a really nice play.
Oh, but it goes back.
Used his zap defensively, but now you got a Lumberjack right on through. Valkyrie has to come down, and now Canario is starting to eat through Hire's elixir.
Musketeer behind, and that Sparky should Snowball just barely saves it.
That was so close, but the zap from Canario to take the units off the board of Hire was so beautiful. Very, very close to taking that tower.
Sparky one more time from Canario, trying to press the advantage. Hire needs to find a way to contend with all this, and again goes for a defensive graveyard, this time with a lot more on the board than just a Sparky.
Yeah, Lumberjack takes out the Valkyrie, but those skeletons making good work, and the Goblin Giants on through. Canario takes game number 1.
You talked about it, Andrew. You're playing that graveyard. Sometimes it does its job. Sometimes it just gives away 5 elixir. And in that case, with the Goblin Giant and the Lumberjack already on the board, very healthy in front of the Sparky, it seemed like it might have been 5 elixir down the drain.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Lumberjack there to pick up the Valkyrie. And of course, those Spear Goblins do a lot of work on the back of the Goblin Giant, especially against those types of units that are made to distract the Sparky, like the Skellies. But if you got that Goblin Giant down and you've got the Sparky behind it with the Lumberjack in between, that is a brutally difficult push to stop.
So game number 1 goes to Canario. Game 2 on its way in just 1 moment. Hire, the 22-year-old from the Hunan province in China, trying to find some way to beat the Spaniard in Canario. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of that action here from this Graveyard Sparky matchup.
Yeah, and it's tough. You know, the RNG behind that Graveyard Sparky interaction, very, very difficult to manage, impossible to manage, actually. So here we go. Canario setting up a push, opts to let that Inferno Dragon lock on, and he knows he can play his Goblin Giant and his Lumberjack now.
Yeah, it just completely loads up here, and maybe trying to distract stuff long enough, let those archers do some work, but the Fireball comes in, completely takes them off the board, and that's it. Goblin Giant, the tower, stab, 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 tower down, and that's game number 1 for Canario.
I mean, Hire is spending so much attention and so much elixir up high that he almost forgets about the Goblin Giant, because we all know what it feels like when you have your opponent Sparky on your side of the map. It's the number 1 priority. But when they've got a Goblin Giant in front of it on your Princess Tower, maybe you need to rethink your priorities.
All right, everyone, just give yourself a quick hit in the leg for that one. Surgical got all of you. So here we go. Canario ready for game number 2. Oh, stats incoming first. Let's take a look at what we saw in that last game from these 2 players, both going hard in the paint, but in the end it was Canario. Hire could not keep up.
Yeah, again, you see 42 elixir spent on spells as opposed to 24, and 82 elixir spent on troops as opposed to 48. And if you're getting Sparky down 4 times, and you're getting Graveyard down 4 times, but your Graveyard is mainly to distract the Sparky, that's not the way to win the game with that as your win condition.
Yeah, it is really, really challenging to try to deal with that Sparky here, and not a lot of excellent options. In particular, no direct way to reset the Sparky. Not a single one, so you have to figure out how to contend with a shot. Will be getting off. The question is, can you direct it? In this case, Hire did his best, but it was the Goblin Giant that was his demise.
And Canario's got Lumberjack and Minions and Zap to help clean up. Oh, and guards to help clean up that graveyard. So a pretty rough matchup for Hire, but also very well played by Canario.
Here we go. Game number 2. Hire and Canario to go toe-to-toe once more. So Hog Rider played by Canario, gets on through, 1 swing in, but a
nice counter push and turn by Higher.
One bat does escape. Will do a little bit of damage on the right-hand side, and Bomb, though, not getting anywhere near that Inferno Tower, will clean up the rest.
So Canario here analyzing his situation, figuring out what he wants to do.
You know, a lot of players do look up from their phones at certain moments, and we've talked to a few about what's going on, what they're doing. Some of them thinking about their cycle, some of them thinking about what their opponent might be doing in the next moment.
You see here Canario doing exactly that. He recognizes, all right, my opponent's going to use arrows to take out my archer, so I'm going to go hog plus bats in the left-hand lane, and look at that, bats connect.
21-43 left-hand side. Night Witch cleans up that last archer, but damage is done. First minute, 10 seconds away.
So both these guys playing very, very slow and calculated.
Giant Skeleton left lane, and Canario taking a moment to consider his options.
Thinking about what his opponent has in cycle, what the best counter is to this push that he's got in, and you know, that freeze, that Valkyrie's gonna unfreeze and take out those goblins.
And Snowball easily gets behind. Giant Skeleton nowhere near tower.
Wow.
Hog Rider all over that right-hand side. Canario just abused that moment.
Yeah, doing so very well with so little, and again, he keeps looking up, thinking about what his opponent's gonna do, and then he punishes him. Hog bats left, Valkyrie hog right. Valkyrie comes unfrozen, takes out those goblins, and look at where we are. 4:06 remains on Higher's top right tower.
Double elixir time early in tower from Canario, going right-hand side with the Hog Bomb Tower. Picks up from Higher, looking to put together a big push in that left-hand lane. Bats do not get in front. A freeze to reset, tower goes down on the right-hand side. Graveyard in for Higher on the left.
Now that Giant Skeleton is getting tanked by those bats. The Giant Skeleton making his way towards the tower, not gonna be enough. Canario gonna walk away with a quick set sweep.
Higher's going to take one more big swing, but you can't imagine that Canario's going to make any major mistakes in this moment. Is behind a little bit on Elixir. Inferno Tower to pick up. Can he defend this final graveyard? Freeze coming at some point, just has to figure out when and how.
Yep, and that's why he's spreading the units the way he is. Archers low, bats high, Skelly's in the middle. Bats are on the tower. 342, that's going to take the tower. 7 HP.
7 HP. 7 HP.
So close. Liquid does it again. Just skating by on the skin of their teeth. That was absolutely crazy again.
The arrows came in, they were not enough. And again, it's one skeleton doesn't escape to get the job done. Unbelievable. The finishes today have been so close. Everyone's heart stopped there for a moment. Canario gets by 2-0 sweep, and now Liquid is one set away from being world champions.
I mean, you talk about the ball bouncing in your favor time after time after time. Not only does Surge get on the plane and get his visa, not only does Igor show up and sweep your opponents, they come away with a 1 HP, a 48 HP, and what was this, 73 HP victory? It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if any team has won by this thin of a margin this many times, but that's the difference. That's what makes a champion versus a runner-up, and right now, Team Liquid in a very good position. And you gotta, again, go back to that question about WEDGM with that 2v2. Was that the right call in this grand final?
I mean, obviously hindsight is 2020, not working out for them right now. Let's take a look at that last game here from Canario and Higher.
It barely gets closer than this. Of course, it began with the tower take on the right-hand side as WDGM trying to load up on the left. Hog Rider right, and it's going to go ahead with that EQ and take care of business. One more swing, tower down, but now's the time for Higher to start pushing on that left-hand lane.
I'm almost wondering if he should have defended that hog or not, but, you know, that's what he decided to do, and not having enough elixir on the left-hand side to pull the trigger on the graveyard, just the freeze. But here we go with this crazy, crazy tower take at the end.
It's so close. You see, the snowball comes in maybe a half second early, arrows to clean things up, but the bats just can't get enough bites on the tower. Slow motion, one was all it took, and that's it. 7 HP separates us from a sudden death over time, and now Liquid with a really good chance to close things out.
A very, very good position, and this is not ever where you want Liquid to be in. And who do you think's going to come out right now, huh? Who's going to come out in the biggest moment for Team Liquid? He's playing stellar. They're in the lead, 2 sets in hand. It's going to be Surgical. How could it not be Surgical Goblin?
We'll see that in just a moment. First, let's look at the stats from that last game. Canario just keeping the pressure on and playing great defense except for one tiny moment. And you see, Graveyard only got down twice. Canario was able to keep getting Hogs onto the tower, keep getting Hogs into play, making higher play defense. Canario didn't have to play a lot of defense, but he did play the most important bit there at the end.
Yeah, he really, really, truly did. And we actually just got word that Surgical is playing in the next set. So Diego B's coming up now, and I actually like this because I think if you're the coach of WEDGM and you're Eric Benjamin, you look at all right, we're going to take at least one of those 2 sets. They're going to put up their second best guy in the second 1v1 set. So now Surgical has a favorable matchup in the third.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one, and Diego B, of course, has won a ton of these 1v1
Yes.
sets, so we'll see who he's going up against in this second set. It's going to be another best of 3, and we'll see, can WEDGM extend their life, or will Team Liquid close them out in a straight sweep in our grand final?
And I like the idea of putting Igor down for these 3 1v1 sets. Let him come out in King of the Hill where he's been shining today. Let Diego B get back out there in a set where he has been very dominant in his career.
So we're going to get to that very, very, very soon. This has been absolutely insane. Another best of 3 coming your way in just a moment. First, a word from our sponsors. Again, Google Play, the production partner for this Clash Royale League World Finals, the Google Pixel 4, the official device of our event, and some players have taken some pretty good advantage of that device here, getting some big time wins, and right now we have 2 players who both would love to get it done. Diego B would love to be the hero here and close things out for Liquid and help them raise that trophy. Across from him, it's going to be another head-to-head specialist, Solo Man, taking the tower for WEDGM.
Yeah, I mean, in his career, he's 59% in that 1v1 set. Diego B, 80%, but not nearly as many sets played, and you saw him drop one earlier today, so this should be a pretty even matchup across the board. It'll just be about who's got the better matchups deck-wise and who plays better Clash.
Here we go, set number 3 of this best of 5, Diego B against Solo Man. One more time, Diego B, bottom of your screen, Solo Man at the top. And has not played much 1v1 in the regular season. Diego B moving to 2v2 for this fall year.
Finding a really nice home there in 2v2 with Canario. They played very, very well. I was honestly a bit surprised to not see that duo come out once today, but it seemed to be working out pretty well for Liquid.
Keep in mind that overall in 1v1 sets in the regular season, 8-2 in his career, a 4-0 in 1v1 sets, but has moved around and does what's best for his squad, and this 2v2 duo did a lot of good work in the fall.
Yeah, and you see those cards cycled early on. You got to think your opponent's playing Royal Giant. Here Diego B decides to go on offense.
Yeah, an early Royal Giant in the back. Very interesting. We'll see how that works out. Of course, no opposite lane punish from Solo Man.
Yeah, this is dangerous. Now that battle's happening on that side of the river, Diego B has to play some really, really nice and well-orchestrated defense here.
And there you go. A very nice arms around, but
just a second late, Rich. A second late. That's why I'm saying well-orchestrated. You misplay those barbs, and that Mega Knight gets a lead when you're not expecting it, and all of a sudden a game slips right through your fingers like that.
So frustrating. You think you've got that Mega Knight taken care of. Big leap. Bye-bye, Barbs. Hello, tower down.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like, we both thought, we were like, okay, Barb's going to surround the Mega Knight, going to make easy work of it, but Solo Man getting that really, really nice sleep, and Diego B going to have to bounce back in game number 2.
And Solo Man now can really dictate where this game takes place. Diego B, there you go, going to the left-hand side, the only side that really makes sense for him.
Yep, and so what does Solo Man do? He's like, all right, well, let's try this again. Mega Knight in the back to meet your RG. How you going to break through?
And remember, that King Tower down to 1277, so at any point, Solo Man can just make him defend it.
Yeah, whether it's with the Ram Rider or the Bandit is more than enough. Or if you place the Goblin Cage offset on your side of the map, it pops and then goes towards your opponent's King Tower.
And there you go, Bandit Mega Knight takes care of that Furnace. Bandit not going to get away, and now a Royal Giant again at the bridge this time from Diego.
Yeah, RG back down, but 8 elixir in hand of Solo Man, and he uses it very, very well there. RG gets one shot.
And Diego giving the good game, knowing that it all got decided there in the opening moments. A better surround this time. Too little, too late. Solo Man takes game number 1 of this best of 3.
Very, very well played. And even there at the end when Diego had a better surround by the Barbs, it was still made slight work with that Mega Knight and the Baby Dragon combination. So Diego just having a rough go of it in game number 1.
Yeah, RG Barbs is an interesting risk because Barbs, while they can provide so much DPS on the defensive side, there are so many ways to just wipe them off the board and make them irrelevant. We saw that here.
We've seen a good amount of Fireball today. We've seen a great amount of Mega Knight. So you think with those Barbs, maybe a better option in the deck, but it's okay. Team Liquid playing with the house's money right now. 2 sets in hand, and Diego B looking to bounce back here against Solo Man, who looked unstoppable in his head-to-head debut at Finals.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the action from that last game, and it's going to be that tower falling on the right-hand side, and you're going to see this Royal Giant just walks into oblivion, basically sending this Royal Giant out as chum for the water and easily taken care of. And then here it is, the Barbs just slightly mistimed, and the leap gets up, kaboom.
And it's because that Ice Spirit jumped. Instead of making the Mega Knight go to the Ice Spirit went to the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight gets frozen, mid-hop, lands on the Barbs, and just a really unfortunate sequence of events for Diego B there. Solo Man in the driver's seat for the rest of the game.
Diego now needs 2 in a row to close things out. Solo Man has a game to give. We'll see if he can get it done here and send us to a 4th set where we will see Surgical Goblin against No Miso.
Yeah, and that's why this set feels so much like a must-win for WEDGM. They cannot go into a set, a 1v1 set against Surgical Goblin. I mean, well, they can't go into it. They would lose. Yeah,
it's a must-win for a few reasons.
Period.
So here we go. Let's get into game number 2. Diego B against Solo Man. And again, that win rate on the right-hand side of your screen does not tell the story of Diego B as a head-to-head player. Lifetime in head-to-head play, 58% win rate. And something is not looking good for Solo Man. You see him shaking his head a few times, moving his fingers around. Did not like how he saw this opening from Diego go.
So here we go. Mega Minion to catch that Dark Prince. Maybe Diego feels like he could have a better go of it this time around with Royal Giant.
And again, going Royal Giant early behind King Tower. Very interesting.
So Night Witch coming down, and gonna really hope that Mega Knight doesn't come down as well and just repeats history.
Yeah, had a slight elixir advantage, but not a significant one here. This time Mini P.E.K.K.A behind.
Yep. So Mini P.E.K.K.A gonna come in and do some nice work. Should take out that Dark Prince as well with the help of those archers.
That went a lot better than last time, and now Graveyard played, but Baby Dragon stuck on the opposite side of the river.
Yeah, now we do have a log in Diego B's hand. That should be just enough to clean up that Graveyard pretty efficiently, but some nice damage for Solo Man.
Oh, Baby Dragon did not turn towards the furnace, instead belched onto that tower. Here we go, reaching the midway point of regulation, and it is Solo Man in the lead by just under 300 HP.
So Diego here has a couple good responses to the graveyard, and of course the archers and the log. Most likely that last card I'm thinking might be lightning.
Both players slowing down just a bit as we enter double elixir time.
And you'll see Soloman do that pretty regularly, where he take these big, heavy breaths to kind of calm his nerves.
Diego sets up Royal Giant in the back. Baby Dragon, Dark Prince coming to meet. They will cross the bridge, get on this side. Not a good time to pull the trigger on that graveyard, though, with this Royal Giant instead.
No. Diego did a great job of making sure that Dark Prince was completely occupied by the mini deck, and now the RG gets to break right on through and get a few shots in. Very, very nice by Diego.
Graveyard played defensively, trying to load up and take care of some of that business. Does prevent what could have been a lot more damage, and here we go. Final 15 seconds of regulation.
This mini P.E.K.K.A has been a huge shift from the game we just saw, doing so much against all these troops that usually would be pretty easy to cut down that Royal Giant. The mini P.E.K.K.A has really thrown a wrench in Soloman's defense.
Lightning trying to make room, does not get it done. Here we go, sudden death overtime.
11:72 to 15:43.
Diego keeping that furnace as a permanent fixture in that exact same spot.
Yeah, I mean, he's happy to keep playing it up high because if Soloman poisons that, he can't poison the archers down low. And you'll see Diego doing a great job of separating them. Now he goes poison on the archers. Furnace is alive to tank.
Archers do step up into the poison.